Hi everyone, I'm Cerise, and today I'd like to share a little bit about what I've been walking in the last few weeks. So, I've been running on full steam ahead type of mode. Everything has been flat out. My days have been full. I've had very little time that I've given myself to just relax and unwind. And in the middle of all of this, I'm developing a new relationship. So I've been busy. And on top of this, there are the usual stresses of things like survival, health issues, problems that the people in my life are facing that I've been trying to support with. All of these things going on at the same time. So it's been the last few weeks, maybe the last few months, and in a lot of ways it feels like the last few years. But it's been kind of one thing after the other while being in this kind of flat out moving forward experience. So in the last few days I've been feeling pretty run down. I've been feeling tired. Feels like my drive is kind of just slowly edging down into this very slow motion, low kind of point. And that's not what I want. I don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling run down and lethargic and things like that. And I also don't like the feeling that comes with that lowered drive. It's almost like we start telling ourselves that things are not as important as they are and it can wait. We start postponing. It's like we make ourselves believe that it's okay to just do nothing more often, while in fact it just is now going to the other end of the spectrum, the other extreme of running flat out and doing everything all the time, like a machine, to being lazy, being undisciplined, being slow, lethargic. So obviously neither of these two extremes work. There has to be a middle ground, and of course it's up to us to create that middle ground, to create the balance in our lives, so that, yes, we are doing everything that we need to do. We are being creative. We are being innovative. We are creating that drive within ourselves, within what we're doing, but also giving ourselves the space to just wind down, relax, have some fun, have some quiet moments. So, yeah, sorry, the cat's talking to me at the moment. Hello, Squeaky. Alright, so I'm at that point. I need to find that balance, and I need to build that balance. I need to create it, because it's never really as simple as just, okay, I need to find a balance. Alright, let me just do that. It's not that easy, because in my life, I know my list of responsibilities is very long and I struggle keeping up with everything. So it feels like I can never do enough, because I can never keep up with all of the things that I need to do. It's as simple as that. So my challenge comes in with that feeling of I'm not doing enough, but that feeling comes from the fact that there is too much for me to keep up with. It is not possible. I would have to stop sleeping and duplicate myself a few times in order to keep up with it. So that experience is, let's call it the issue, because if I take this whole thing back to a practical starting point of, okay, I have so much time, there's so much that must be done, I need to prioritize things, decide what's the most important, and commit myself to doing those things which I actually am able to do, and the things that must be done over and above the other things. or maybe create a rotation where one day I'll focus on those types of things and the next day it'll be other things. So as soon as I start going into that experience of I'm not doing enough, it kind of becomes like this frantic rush of try and get as much done as possible, and without having that practicality in there, I actually end up being less productive when I go into that frantic state of I need to do all of these things and I don't know where to start and what am I going to do, and I'll start with this thing and then I'll be like, oh wait, no, I need to do this other thing, and I'll jump over there and I'll jump from point to point. And and at the end of the day, because my focus is so split, I'm not actually doing as much as I could be doing. If I brought it back, slowed myself down, and just broke everything down into some basic practical steps. So that is my suggestion, because I know that there are so many people who are in this kind of a lifestyle where it's just non-stop. It's just one thing after the other. We're trying to keep up. We're trying to make it through. We're trying to do more, be better, even when we're pushing ourselves past that breaking point. So yes, we may not be able to change the things that we must do in our lives, because yes, it does depend on survival. Yes, we do have to do certain things, and yes, sometimes it is too much for one person to cope with. But a lot of the time, we have to do it anyway, or at least do the best that we can within that. So the shift that we can create within ourselves that can change that stressful, overworked, run-down state that we drive ourselves into is how we approach what must be done, because it is that who I am that will determine our experience within it, which will then in turn determine how our physical bodies are affected. So if who I am within what I'm doing is stressed, pushing too hard, frantic, if I'm living all of these words within my day-to-day things, my day-to-day responsibilities, that's what I'm going to create. And it's going to get worse over time until the point where everything crashes, burnout, need to take time off, get away from everything for a few days to try and just recalibrate and get to a point of being able to function again. And that's obviously not what anyone wants. We don't want to go through that cycle of frantic work, overwork, and burnout. Try and reset, okay? But if I change who I am within how I'm doing things to being practical, being, how do I put it, slowing down enough to actually live that practicality. So the opposite of being frantic, rather being deliberate, disciplined, step by step, starting to live those words and embody those principles within what I'm doing, I am actually then giving myself the space to and the platform from which to do everything that I need to do, or at least the best I can, within a point of inner stability, so that I'm not stressing myself out, because who I am within what I'm doing is careful, calm, deliberate, disciplined, practical. And within doing it that way, we find also that that experience of losing our drive, losing our feeling of purpose, that will also change, because that feeling of losing that drive comes in when we're not being not supporting ourselves effectively within how we're approaching our day-to-day responsibilities. Okay, I'm going to end it off there. If you do have any questions, please remember you can leave a comment or you can send me a direct message. And if there's any points that you'd like me to open up further or would like me to answer or expand on or whatever, I will do another video for you. And please support me on Patreon if you would like to support me to carry on what I'm doing. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you to those people who have chosen to support the Get Real page. It is greatly appreciated. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye.